DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts.
What the blazes was that?
Bravo! Bravissimo!
Launchpad! My treasure!
My plane!
My hat! I can't believe you were distracted by a bit of hammy hoofing.
I can't believe you weren't. That's gonna be in there all day.
Oh, just get the plane out of this blasted tree and follow them, now!
It's the week of Monday, July 30th, and you are listening to episode 35 of DuckTalks. Hey everyone, welcome to DuckTalks. We're going to talk about the new Disney Channel reboot of DuckTales. We haven't called it a reboot in a while. I think we've just become accustomed to referring to it as DuckTales. Hey, this is Mitch, and I've also got with me Pirate Steven.
Air Pirate Steven, come on. You're with the times, yo-ho.
This was a fun episode, man. I bet you were singing all week.
Yeah, it's Launchpad said it's a catchy tune, and yeah, I've been humming it.
Every time he found himself humming that, it just made me cackle. It was good. It was great. Great
Again,
episode.
Launchpad steals the show.
Every time.
Yeah, he's only in it for like a minute.
They don't put him and Glomgold in the same episode very often.
I mean, yeah, with that, they're the best stuff. So, I mean, you can't put both of them in the same episode because the episode would explode.
Well, let's jump right into things. We're going to begin this week by taking a look at a question that we had in an email that a listener sent in. The person who emailed us, name is Ethan. Ethan said that he noticed that at San Diego Comic-Con, one of the images that came up on the screen was of a female character, and Frank Angones mentioned that this was the head of Glomgold Industries. And so Ethan's question is, where is Glomgold in Season 2?
Glomgold's been working pretty hard. You know, it might be his vacation season. Maybe he's by the beach somewhere.
Well, I mean, we've not seen the end of Season 1, so we don't have any indication of where he might be in the story. We know we also saw an image of a young Glomgold, so who knows why there might be someone else in charge. I like to think he's on a beach somewhere as well.
Let's just go with that. I mean, this new... we're just going to have to say villain because it's Glomgold Industries. She definitely, the character design looks like very nice character design. Can't wait to see what she's going to do. I'm going to miss Glomgold if he is on vacation, but I'm sure he'll be back soon.
Ethan, thanks for your email, and we appreciate all the emails that we've received. We've had a lot of conversations going on by email. If you have a question or a suggestion for the show, you can always send that to ducktalkspod@gmail.com, and let us know if you'd like for us to read your email. We just got a message that we need more Glomgold on Twitter. It's great. It's all day.
That pretty much our whole Twitter feed is people asking for more Glomgold. And you know what? I agree with them.
You can never have enough Glomgold.
Right.
Let's take a look at the news this week for DuckTales. So this week in the news, we've got images from Disney. They put out some official images of a couple new episodes. I think this is funny that this always happens on a Friday before a new episode comes out. It just seems to me like it'd make more sense for this to come out on Monday after we've enjoyed a new episode. But it comes out every Friday. There's always new images or descriptions or something about a future episode. And that's what we got this past Friday. And those images came from, and this title always trips me up because it's The Secret or Secrets of Castle McDuck. And we got an iconic look of the nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, walking down a set of a spiraling staircase with a block wall beside them. It's very iconic looking for all of us DuckTales fans.
Yeah, that's straight from the theme song from classic DuckTales.
The other two images include Scrooge's parents. Now, it's Fergus McDuck and is it Downey McDuck?
Yes. And Downey was actually created by Don Rosa in his stories for Life and Times of Scrooge. So you'll get to read those soon.
Yeah, now was Fergus created by Carl Barks? Or was he also created by Rosa?
I don't know. I didn't know you were going to answer that question.
We'll eventually get there because we are reading through those stories. We've started with Don Rosa being the more recent of the classic Scrooge and Donald stories. We've started there. And I'm through Volume 1. You're through Volume 1 as well. So we'll be talking about that soon. If we can ever get Discord working again. But anyway, so we got Fergus and we've got Downey, and it looks like, of course, by the title, we're going to be at Castle McDuck. And I think it's funny that in both of these images, you have Scrooge and Fergus with the exact same scold looking at one another. Yeah,
Fergus actually was created by Carl Barks.
Okay.
But yeah, in the Don Rosa version. He wasn't really a scoldy kind of guy. So it'll be interesting to see how he is portrayed in this one. He was always supporting Scrooge McDuck, and the two daughters, whatever they need, and he was a good dad. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he is in this one. Then he's still alive, so that's interesting as well. Because we didn't know if he was going to be a ghost or whatnot.
Never know with this show.
Yeah, and some of the trailers that we saw that are from this episode, we see the hound that scared the McDuck family away from their castle.
Oh yeah, and there were the goopy looking ghost things.
Yeah, and so that's from classic DuckTales and also from the comics. So that will be in here. We just didn't know that Fergus was going to be alive.
Interesting. Well, we'll keep an eye out for other images if they're released. Typically, it's only 2 or 3, so this could be it. And this is, I've not even looked. This is next week's episode?
Yeah, this is next week's episode. So a couple of days.
Right. Just a few days, maybe tomorrow by the time you're listening to this podcast. The other 3 images are from the Shadow War, and I feel like we've seen all of this in the sizzle reel that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con, but it's mostly Donald. A couple of images, one image with Donald by himself saluting, and then one with him, and we see Mrs. Beakley and all of the kids in life jackets. And then another image of Mrs. Beakley giving Donald some sort of pep talk. And Donald is driving his houseboat, looks like. So, could be part 1 or part 2 of the Shadow War. We know that's going to be a 2-parter.
Yeah, that Donald's boat is pretty durable. I mean, the pilot episode, it caught on fire and blew up. And then Launchpad's dropped it a couple of times in that swimming pool, Scrooge McDuck, and then
there was the generators.
Generators, and then the Jaws episode where they had to use it. So it's been through hell. Hopefully it doesn't sink in that finale episode.
I think it's going to hold up. You can check out, we did a blog on that, just including those images. Disney likes to release those, like I said, on Fridays. So we'll keep an eye out for new images. I know that the last crash of the Sunchaser will be between these 2 episodes, but they have not released images for it yet. So maybe we'll get those this Friday. We did, however, get episode descriptions for the upcoming episodes. So let's look at those very quickly. The Secrets of Castle McDuck is going to air on August the 4th. That's this coming Saturday. And it says, on a family trip to Scrooge's ancestral castle, Dewey tries to hide the truth about his mom as his brothers search for family secrets. Graham McTavish from the Hobbit trilogy and Ashley Jensen from Ugly Betty guest star as Scrooge's parents, Fergus and Downy McDuck, respectively. That's probably one of the biggest descriptions we've had of an episode. And it's everything we just talked about.
That's pretty descriptive, yeah. We nailed it.
Saw that Graham McTavish, and I'm sure I'm saying that name wrong, but I saw that he's going to be at Dragon Con this year, so just another reason for me to try and make it out to Atlanta.
I can't wait to see this coverage you're going to have of Dragon Con. That's amazing.
We're working on it. I've actually got a few things that I realized today are kind of in my way, so we'll see. I'm hoping to make it out there. The next episode will be The Last Crash of the Sunchaser. It is scheduled to air on August the 11th. And it says, stuck on a precarious peak, the kids secretly search the plane for the final clue about Della's mysterious disappearance. Now, it looks like the boys, or we know Webby and Dewey already know, but it looks like Huey and Louie are going to find out about Della pre-Last Crash of the Sunchasers. So I'm guessing the Secrets of Castle McDuck are going to hold some secrets about Della.
Possible.
And then the final episode is a two-parter, The Shadow War, and they have brought back the old titles that we had seen previously. The Night of Dispel is part 1, and The Day of the Ducks is part 2, and that will air on August the 18th. Also have a long description of this episode.
That's a big weekend. August 19th is Sharknado 6 on the Sci-Fi Channel. So, man, I'm going to be watching some TV that weekend.
Now, wait a minute. Are you a Sharknado fan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen all of them.
I haven't seen any of them.
What?
No.
Man, you're missing out. You need to... I guarantee you that there'll be a Sharknado-type marathon that whole week, or even a day. You just need to tape all of them, because they are stupidly entertaining.
That's the one with the guy from 90210 with the perm, right?
Yeah, Ian Zierling. Come
okay. So in this description, not Ian, Magica De Spell is close to exacting revenge on Scrooge, so the family races against time to plan a dangerous rescue mission to save Scrooge and the city. Don Cheadle, let me try that again. Don Cheadle from Avengers Infinity War and other Marvel movies guest stars as Donald Duck's intelligible voice as a result of an inventive voice box. Reprising their roles are Lin-Manuel Miranda as Fenton Crackshell Cabrera, a.k.a. Gizmo Duck, Catherine Tate, Doctor Who as Magica De Spell, and Kimiko Glenn, Orange is the New Black, as Lena. And I think everything in that description was in that sizzle reel, so we knew all that. Or at least out of the news from San Diego Comic Con.
And it's a two-parter, so I'm guessing Glomgold will appear in one of those episodes somehow. But yeah, I don't see Glomgold in maybe the Castle McDuck episode or the Sunchaser one. So
maybe he shows up kind of like a Where's Waldo type thing.
Do we know when season 2 is rumored?
No, we do know that it's not in October.
We do know that?
Yes, Frank has confirmed a while back for us that was old news, and to his knowledge, the show would not air in October.
Okay.
But, that's kind of the time of year that we would have expected it.
Right. That's going to be a long hiatus then.
It could be. That's okay. We went through a 5-month hiatus. We can handle whatever they throw at us, knowing that season 2 is coming. And that we can sit down and do like in-depth breakdowns of the old episodes. Now, we're going to be talking about comics. We're going to be talking about video games. I'm sure we'll have
a lot of Duck merch conversation there, I'm betting.
Yeah. Speaking of Duck merch, let's get into a little bit of that. I had a trip this weekend. we drove out to a shopping area away from us up in, trying to remember if this is Pigeon Forge or Sevierville. I think it's in Sevierville. There's a Disney store there, and we were able to get our hands on a Louie plush. We've not had them in our area since the very beginning.
Out of all the Disney Store plushes, that one's my favorite. I mean, because the eyes are so expressive, and he's got his little hood. I think that's a great one.
Well, we called ahead because it was a bit of a trip for us, and we were thinking we were going to go out there for some school shopping anyway. And so we called ahead to see if they had any. They had Louie. They did not have Huey. Those are the two we needed. So we asked them to hold one for us. When I got there, his hair was a little jacked up. So thankfully they had a ton of them out on the floor. They had no Huey. Apparently Huey was very popular for them, or maybe they didn't have as many. But I was able to trade him for one that was in a better condition. And then I asked for my free shipping coupon so that I could buy Huey, because they were 40% off last week.
That is a smart deal. And you can even, in the store, order the item and they'll ship it to you for free.
Oh. Well, I did. I went and did it myself.
You can do it either way.
Yeah.
I mean, either way is fine. But I'm sure it's good to know that Huey is the most popular of the nephews in the Pigeon Forge area.
It'll make Josh feel a little better.
Right.
But, Huey got his own J.C. Penney line with the woodchuck stuff.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get a woodchuck book one of these days. I feel like that is a moneymaker waiting to be born.
We need an update on how things are going with Josh and his lunchbox that he bought.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's ran into any restrictions, how it's holding up. We need a follow-up report on that thing.
For a follow-up log on the lunch? Sure.
Yeah. Just how much food will fit in it.
He spent like 72 hours on that blog, so
it's a great blog.
I'm hoping people bought that lunchbox, and it is. We got to all thank Josh for buying it, because as soon as he did, it went on sale.
Right. Yeah, you commented on it like a day or two later.
Could have saved an extra $5.
I told him he could probably take his receipt in and get a refund. Let's see what else is coming out. So in October, just a couple months away, right? This is August, September, October. We're getting close. It's almost a couple months. IDW DuckTales number 14 will be out. They always release the covers and descriptions of these issues a little early. The way comic books, if you don't pay attention to comic books, if you don't order comic books, it's kind of odd. You have to order them about 2 months ahead in order to get them on time. That whole system's kind of messed up, but that means that we do get the descriptions and covers at least 2 months early. And so the cover for issue 14, there's a familiar looking character on this cover. It would have been a huge spoiler had we gotten it earlier. Not really. It's Gavin. At least it's a Bigfoot. And the description says, there are monsters up to no good in this 2-part tale of scary times in Duckburg. Join Uncle Scrooge along with Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Webby as they realize that the monsters are due at Duck Manor. And so there's an A and a B cover. And of course, there'll probably also be a blueprint cover, maybe of Gavin. And the first cover has Miss Beakley and the kids sitting at the TV, and there's some kind of monsters behind them in the dark. And it's pretty clear that it's the Bigfoot, especially if you compare it to cover B, which shows, I don't know, it almost looks like the Bigfoot's coming through the TV.
Yeah, and then the boys have like fangs.
Oh, yeah. You're right. So does Webby. Huh. And there's a video camera. So apparently they were in one of these stories. They're probably making some kind of low-budget movie.
Yeah, one of my favorite classic DuckTales episode was the Monsters episode, where Scrooge had to hired all the monsters to do like a monster remake show.
So I don't remember that episode. He's just trying to remake movies?
Well, no, he closes down the theater that the monsters like the Jekyll and Hyde and the Wolfman and Dracula, all of them were using. So they needed a new place to have their show, so they wanted to take over the money bin. One of them is like the King Kong type monkey, and he climbs the tallest building in Duckburg, which is of course Scrooge McDuck's money bin. So hilarity follows. So definitely check out whatever the heck that name of that episode is.
Yeah, I don't know that that's on my volumes. I've got all three. I'll have to look. I'm constantly amazed at how many of those episodes I've forgotten over the years.
They made a lot of them. I hope they make just as many of the new show.
So that's DuckTales number 14. We also got some news with the solicitation that IDW sends us. There was something that was surprising on there. Caught me a little off guard, and I sent it to you and Josh as soon as I came across it. But there's a description of a book called Disney Afternoon Giant Number 1, and it says Cover A by James Silvani.
Yay.
Right? It lists a bunch of creatives who have worked on this. So there's a big crew that's worked on it. In the first issue of a brand new series featuring stories from your favorite Disney afternoon shows. It's a blast from the past in the present as we feature classic DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, and Darkwing Duck stories, all together in one place for the first time. It's a 48-page book. It's $5.99. There's a couple more bullet points here. It says brand new title featuring your classic Disney afternoon favorites, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Bi-monthly issues featuring rotating serialized content that will have you hooked from the start. Classic tales from beloved characters that will appeal to readers of all ages. So reading that, it looked to me like dream project. I mean, I've been wanting this forever, for them to do a book that rotates, creative crews, and also rotates stories between Darkwing Duck and DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and maybe Tailspin and Goof Troop, and this month or every other month that we'll get 2 stories from this show, and then we'll get 2 stories from that show, and different whether or not it was different creative teams or not. I just thought it'd be an awesome idea to do, and to kind of fill the waters to see what kind of market there might be for that book. So we were very excited about this. And so was everyone else, because as soon as I posted that blog, our website got a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I was excited mostly because James Silvani was doing the cover for it. But we did find out some more information about it.
Yeah, so as the weekend went on, and again, this was from the solicitation from IDW. They sent this out. Someone asked Aaron Sparrow, who worked with James Silvani on the recent Joe Books Darkwing Duck comic, if he knew anything about it, because James hadn't commented at all. And which I don't know that a lot of people tagged him, so we didn't reach out to him for any more information yet. And Aaron responded, I've got it here, let me pull it up. I got a link to it. I am prepared. So Aaron responded, first of all, that it was reprints. And then he said, from the first issue credits, it seems to be Boom era Rescue Rangers and DuckTales. The good news is that we get that amazing Castellani art, but I'd love to see some of the 90s stuff reprinted, because I guess the person who was asking him was also asking, if he thought it would include the 90s comics, because there were comics of the Disney Afternoon back in the 90s. So I got to looking, I went back to this description and I was looking at it, and I guess it is maybe worded in a way that it could be, because this is a brand new series featuring stories from your favorite Disney Afternoon shows. But it says it's a blast from the past in the present as we feature classic DuckTales, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and Darkwing Duck stories all together for the first time. So it looks like this collection is going to be reprinted material. Do you have any of those Boom issues?
I do not.
I missed this. I didn't realize that Boom had done Disney Afternoon Comics until well into Disney Infinity, and I was looking back on looking on eBay or Amazon and started seeing these random issues pop up, and that's actually when I found the Darkwing Duck Definitively Dangerous edition and found out about Joe Bucks and Aaron Sparrow and James Silvani. But I've not tried to get a hold of those books just because I couldn't find them collected, other than the Definitively Dangerous edition, because that is the Boom Darkwing series, right?
Yes.
Sort of. I mean, it's been edited and changed a little bit, but that is those comics. So I got a ton of questions about this now. Is this going to be the original printing, or is it going to be the print from Definitively Dangerous? Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. Does it sound like something you're going to order?
Yes, I'm going to order it. $5.99, 40-something pages. It does sound like it's going to be the DuckTales and Rescue Rangers story up front, I think is what Aaron said. I'm trying to look. Yeah, Boom era Rescue Rangers and DuckTales, based on the first issue. So he's thinking the first issue will be Rescue Rangers and DuckTales from the Boom era. So that's both books that I've never seen.
Yeah, for me, I think it's gonna, I mean, it definitely seems up my alley, but I'm gonna have to look at the cover of it. I kind of like the trade paperbacks have a collection of different stories. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if I get the individual ones or not. But I don't know. James Silvani cover is very tempting.
If not just for the issue 1. Now I've heard good things about that Rescue Rangers series. From what I've seen online, I've not seen great things about that era of DuckTales. And I know that when they did the Definitively Dangerous edition, they left those stories out because that's not, even though we call it the Omnibus, it's not all of Boom's Darkwing Duck series, because there was a story that was a crossover. And I don't know if it crossed over with DuckTales and Rescue Rangers or if it was just DuckTales. Not sure, but the crazy thing there is you've got, are you going to get multiple launch pads, or are they in the same universe when you get into Boom? I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Hopefully Bonkers is in that same universe.
But we could use some Mighty Ducks. So yeah, keep your eye out for that. That is coming, was that October? Yeah, so it's in October as well. If you're wanting to pick this up, you need to go ahead and let your local comic book store know that you want it. If you're going to get it digitally, you're fine. But if you want to pick this up, because here's the thing about these type of issues, these all ages books, there's the comic book industry's still having a hard time reaching out to kids. Used to, when I was a kid, comic books were at the grocery store. They were at, the convenience store. My first comic books were on a comic book stand at a gas station. Comic books were much more accessible, but they're not carried in those stores as often. You can get them at a bookstore, or you can get them at, a comic book store. So, they're kind of struggling to reach that audience. And in my experience, comic book stores just aren't buying as many. My local comic book store is buying some all ages comics, and I had to really, I bring them up all the time whenever I hear about something. And, he puts a few out, and, there's been a few times that I've come back the next week or even 2 weeks, and an issue still be on the stands. So if you want it, you're going to have to reach out to somebody. Well, that's it for news and duck merch this week. We do have an episode to discuss. It was a fun episode. So let's go ahead and jump into our review. Now, we start off our review by doing a 30-second recap. We choose by random which one of us is going to do that. Are you prepared for that this week?
Are you prepared?
I think I'm prepared. I had a hard time seeing this episode. Oh, man.
All right.
I closed... Hold on. I
Pick
closed...
number 2.
You're picking number 2? You're sticking me with 1. I see what you're doing. So I had the randomizer up, but apparently it closed during all the issues with getting started. All right, between 1 and 2, you pick 2, and it's 1.
Yes!
I'm going to start picking.
No, you can't. You have the randomizer button. You can't pick.
All right, you ready?
Go.
The family is returning from a successful adventure with treasure. Dewey feels ignored. Launchpad almost crashes. Sky Pirates with a nice song. They steal the treasure and Dewey's hat. Launchpad crashes the plane. Dewey takes off after his hat, becomes a pirate, leads the pirates in a mutiny against Don Carnage. Don Carnage uses a terrible disguise to get the McDuck clan to help him take back the Iron Vulture. The pirates sing a new song, same tune. They betray Dewey. Dewey rescues his family. Don Carnage vows vengeance. $29.35.
Terrible costume. Come on, that was a great costume.
with the caterpillar across the lip.
Oh yeah, that's Tom Carnage, the botanist. I don't know if you know him from the comics.
Did he call himself Tom?
Yeah, Tom.
Oh, I thought he just changed the way he said his name.
It sounded like he was going to say Don Carnage, and it came out Tom. Unless my ears were stuffed, and that's what I heard.
Yeah.
But I thought that part was very funny.
I thought it was funny, and I thought he said Don Carnage.
Yeah, I love this episode. Hats off to Madison Bateman, who wrote this one. She did a great job with what is really should be called the Tailspin episode.
I was trying to look up the guy's name who wrote the song, because that's been a big deal this week. I meant to have that in my notes.
Most of the people I've seen love this episode, but I also have seen people. It got its critics as well.
Yeah, that's always going to be the case.
And I feel like most of them were about Jim Cummings not doing the voice of Don Carnage, and just seeing Don Carnage, like, this is not the Don Carnage I grew up with. It's a different person voicing it, and also the character is not the same character from the classic Tailspin. So, yeah, there's going to be some differences. I thought it was well done. I thought the voice actor that does Don Carnage did an awesome job, and I don't know how you can get much better than that. Of course, Jim Cummings is my boy, probably my favorite Disney voice actor. And I would have loved to see him do Don Carnage, but it might have sounded differently for this particular character, this version of Don Carnage. So I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, I mean, like every other character that we've gotten with this new show, I felt like there was a nice mix of humor. I think I liked the story. I thought it was fun. I liked that his crew mutinied on him and threw him from the Iron Vulture. Thankfully, he had a parachute.
Yeah, I felt like it was a very smooth transition to get this story in there. I mean, the family was coming back from a treasure hunt, and the Iron Vulture swoops in, and here's the singing Don Carnage and the pirates. So I thought it was fun. It's a great musical number. I hope there's more musical numbers. I would love to get a DuckTales soundtrack one of these days. So yeah, I think they did a great job. My favorite line, of course, is one of the ones from Launchpad where Huey's trying to help him navigate home. And of course, he's looking at the navigation system, the radar. Yeah. Is this an ant farm? And then is your compass a sticker? And he's like, stickers are for children. This is adults call them decals.
Right. Yeah, that was great. Launchpad always gets some of the greatest lines.
It was fantastic.
And then where he kept, kind of humming along with the tune from the Pirates, which was a catchy tune. That was by Andy Bean.
Yeah, well, I love so the Pirates do all their song, and Don Carnage is dancing, and Scrooge and the boys and Webby were ready to fight back, but they were just like speechless. And
they just kind of swoop in.
All the gold's gone, and they leave, and they're like, "What just happened?" And then Launchpad's like, "That was great. That was good." And he was distracted. He wasn't even flying the plane.
Yeah, and of course they crashed. So what do you think about the story with Dewey? I feel like I liked how they did the story with Dewey, that, it wasn't just, there was actually something that was going on that he wanted to do, that he wanted to share this story about how he got this hat with everybody who was with him. I guess they got split up, but he wanted to share this story and no one would listen. So that's why he decided to take it on himself to go back, because when the pirates took the treasure, they took his hat. So he was determined he was going to get that hat back. I liked how they did that to kind of give a reason for why he ran off with the pirates.
Yeah, that was a great story. The B story, which is Louis and the evil twin and trying to steal the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And Webby trying to teach him a lesson, buying it for $25 at a gift shop was hilarious. Like, I was like, I don't want to learn history or learn anything about treasure hunting. So I thought that was a good B story. But the whole Dewey story was great. I loved seeing him during the second version of the song where Dewey comes in and he is singing, and they're like, "Is that Dewey?"
When Dewey goes into Scrooge and he's trying to tell him the story, he's calling ahead so that the company will clean all of the money so that it's nice and clean for the new treasure that's coming in. And he says, "Of course it's a reasonable expense," or he says something to that effect. I just thought that was great. He's got his priorities.
Great job, Madison. That was a great episode.
Now, looking at the pirates, I felt like some of their designs did look familiar. I think I saw somewhere online someone had mentioned that we didn't see the normal pirates that were typically with Don Carnage, but some of their designs looked similar. Were they not? Yeah, the same characters?
They had at least 4 that were from the old classic Tailspin.
Yeah, we don't call it old.
But they were. It seemed like they were different names.
Yeah, because at one point in the chorus, when they're with Dewey, they sing parts about themselves and with their name, and the names were different.
Yeah, but there's some definitely some recognizable Sky Pirates in his band. We'll try to do a blog on that one of these days.
Yeah, because I thought that was them, and until the names, and then I was like, those names aren't familiar, so I don't know.
Yeah, you could easily do a side-by-side comparison though and see it was the same character.
Yeah, one of them was Mad Dog, and then there was what was the Dodson-looking one with the long snout?
Yeah. Sam Riegel, who did Gavin, and he's like the voice director, did a lot of the voices for the pirates.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did, and then Glomgold did a couple of voices as well. So that kind of made up the chorus people.
Well, it was great. I enjoyed all the singing and the dancing and seeing the Sky Pirates and just thinking about how they're going to tie in. And we know Cape Suzette's coming up in a future episode, and I have got to go and watch, or I have got to sit down and watch the San Diego panel. And so hearing Frank talk about, I'd heard some of those stories already about how, when he went in and asked Disney about, can we get this and can we get this? And well, if you'll give us this, then how about that? I love how much Disney's allowing him to use him and Matt and everyone use the Disney afternoon, and just the possibilities of how that could all tie in together. And just, I like it for the stories that we're getting. I know, sometimes even with Darkwing Duck, we get a lot of the messages we get from people is about, how do you think Darkwing will fit in? Do you think Darkwing will get a spinoff? And I think it'll be great if that happens, but I'm just excited to see how it fits in with the current characters. I really like what they're doing with these characters. I mean, we got Sky Pirates, but not only that, we got a lot of characterization, for Dewey, seeing how he can, get carried away with what's going on.
Yeah, I like how they're using kind of like the secondary characters of the villain characters. Like they could have easily had like Baloo or Louie or Kit or Rebecca or Molly or any of those characters on this one, but they doing it with Don Carnage and the Sky Pirates kind of gave it a Tailspin flavor, but didn't immerse the everybody into Tailspin, which they have plenty of time to do that later down the line. We've always said this is DuckTales. This is about the ducks. They can get to the other stories later on.
Yep, and it's been great. I've enjoyed it. So next week's episode looks like it'll be another good one, and I'm looking forward to watching this one more. I've not gotten to watch it. I've watched it twice. Once yesterday, my provider apparently did not get the go-ahead to start airing it or something. I don't know what's going on there, but I heard from someone today in our Discord that Amazon still doesn't have the newest episode up. So people who purchased the season or purchased volume 2 of season 1 on Amazon still do not have the latest episode.
Yeah, you love this episode so much you bought it twice.
Right. Yeah, I knew I needed to watch it before we did a podcast, and the girls were excited about seeing it. And so we checked multiple times on Saturday because we did have a very long week last week. We had a late night Friday night. And so we'd slept in a little bit, so we missed the episode. We probably got up during the episode, but it was one of those things where we're like, we'll watch it on demand once we get breakfast ready. And then it wasn't there. And then we checked in an hour and it wasn't there. And then we checked a few hours later and it wasn't there. And then we were out and I'm checking on my phone every now and then. And it's still not here. Sling TV didn't get it until yesterday. Yeah, it became available on Sling. No, today. Became available on Sling this morning. Yesterday, I bought it the single episode on iTunes so I could watch it. And we watched it last night.
I've been catching it. I've seen it a bunch of times already. Sorry, Mitch. But I caught it, just so happened to be my night with the baby waking up early in the morning to right around the time when it gets uploaded to Disney Now app. So I've been seeing every episode when they upload it to Disney Now, and then waiting a couple hours and then seeing with my kids when they wake up. So, and they want to see it multiple times. So they love this episode, every episode that they've seen so far.
Yeah, it's been a hit with the girls. Paisley immediately asked when it was over if we could watch it again. But we were watching it just before we went to bed, so it was a no. And she wanted me to wake her up this morning before she had to get ready to leave so that she could watch it this morning, and she wouldn't wake up. So she missed out. But when we got home, she asked immediately. So she loves singing and dancing, so this is right up her alley. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week, and check us out next week. We'll definitely be here to talk about the secrets of McDuck. What is it, McDuck Castle? These titles keep tripping me up. But yeah, we're going to talk about the McDuck clan next week.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Don Rosa references and Carl Bark, so it should be a good one to comb through.
Next week, we'll also be talking about the Don Rosa Volume 1, the Don Rosa Collection. Don Rosa Library, that's what it's called, right? By Fantagraphics.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. If you haven't picked that up and you'd like to read along as we're going, we've been talking about, Beyond DuckTales, we're going to go through the Don Rosa Library. You can pick that up. We're going to have a link to purchase it on Amazon in the notes for this episode. Last I checked, the digital is like $8 if you just want to buy it digitally, or if you want to buy it to put on a bookshelf, it's like $25. But if you don't own these comics, it's a great collection. And I was reading through the commentary from Don Rosa in the back, and it's a lot of really great insight.
Yeah, $8 is a steal for this. I would definitely pick it up for if you just want to read through something, or if you want to keep it for future reading. It is a fantastic volume, and we'll have a review on it sometime soon.
If you'd like to bring up something for us to talk about those comics, you can send us an email at ducktalkspod@gmail.com. Also, if you have any questions for us about DuckTales or merchandise, video games, anything like that we can talk about on the show, you can send that to that email address. You can also find us on Twitter. We are at DuckTalks, and we're there all day, every day, talking about some ducks and Disney Afternoon and all of that good stuff. So you can check us out there. We also have our individual Twitters. I am at Infinirama616.
And I am at the Pirate Steven.
Don't forget to check out DuckTalks.com. That's our blog where we share information as soon as we come across it and give you our thoughts. So check that out. And if you don't mind, if you enjoyed this podcast and you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher you're using, please give us a review or a rating. We would really appreciate that. It helps us reach a larger audience. So thank you for that. Pirate, unless you got anything else to say?
Yo-ho!
Till next time, stay glum golden.
Stay glum golden.
DuckTalks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders.